going back to that event though, Sadako, that was a really special event because my mum is a huge Chic fan. She just loves Nile Rodgers so much. So it all began from that. And then when we seen the lineup, it was like you guys were coming over as well, and then Earth, Wind and Fire. And we're thinking this is the best concert to ever come to Glasgow in a long time, basically. So just something really magical about that night. I think it was so special.
Absolutely. I really honestly can't say any time we've shared the stage with Niall, it hasn't been breathtaking. Like for me, because I'm not as seasoned as my grandmother and my aunt. So it's like when I see the lineup, I'm like, oh, whew, this is going to be good. AKA I'm on the side of the stage watching the entire thing.
Yeah, just learning from the absolute best in the business, isn't it? What a job, unreal.
Absolutely. And they let you pick their brain and everything backstage. It's great.
Yeah.
When the lineup is like that, I just feel like I'm going to class. You know, like, oh, okay. I'm going to go check my professors.
That must give you a lot of energy to feed off as well, you know, when you go up on that stage, when you're in amongst that lineup as well, just that amount of energy to work with, you know?
Yeah, I just remember I'm not up there as me. So that kind of takes away the pressure. Like I'm up there as a Pointer sister and their name, they've laid down the groundwork. So basically follow my grandmother and I will be fine. So that's what it's like. Not like I'm coming in as Sadako Pointer, a new artist. Like these are the Pointers. So I'm fine because they've already set the stage for what it is, you know?
Yeah.
So.
I love the unity with the three of you girls singing together, though. There's just that, they're still keeping that kind of Pointer sister spirit alive. It's brilliant.
Yeah, and it's natural too. That's what's so fun. Even when it was the 4 originals, then the 3 originals, and then Issa, Anita and Ruth, and then me, Issa and Anna. Now it changes. Each time is so much fun. Like even when Bonnie was alive and she would join us on stage, it's family. So it kind of feels like the dinner or the living room, you know, but with mics. So it's natural.
Do you guys just sing all the time in the house? What is the Pointer sister household like? It must just be singing all the time?
Yes and no. There's more yelling. We are very, very loud family. Oh man, and like echoes. All you hear is "Child, woo Lord." A lot of that. Yeah.
That must be a very inspirational household or people to grow up around, though. My God, it's very influential, just the family in general, isn't it?
Absolutely. From the men to the women. I mean, the men were athletes, professional athletes. And then for the ladies to set the stage like they did, it's intimidating a little, though.
Yeah.
Bring it. You come
when did you first start singing as well? Like, was that just something you always grew up with? You started doing that? Or was it something that you thought later on you wanted to get into?
Well, I guess it depends on which relative you ask. But I think I've wanted to be them like my whole life. You know, I didn't really concentrate on that because I was a dancer and an entertainer. I knew how to sing and I like to sing, but when your grandmother and your aunts are the Pointer sisters, you don't really go, oh, I'm going to be a singer too because I sound just as amazing as they do. No, I still don't think that. It's still hard to branch off into singing because they are and they've set the platform for what they have. So yes, I've sung life, but I was a professional dancer and entertainer before I became a singer.
Right.
Yeah. They're different worlds.
Yeah, definitely. So what's the aims for you then, Sadako? I know you're focused on a lot of solo stuff. What can people expect from you? What have you been up to recently? What can they expect in the future then?
That's such a hard question. I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of dealing with a crisis emotionally, especially with what's going on, about what I'm supposed to do, you know? It's like I said before, it's a little hard and a little intimidating being the offspring of such phenomenal women. Or family, you know, because even the people who aren't famous in my family have really made a name for themselves in their field. So I'm intimidated and I don't know. I don't know. I would really like to go solo, but I like singing with people. It's different. Like, I can't look at, Sadako, how was that? Oh, yeah. You know, so I don't know. I've reached out to some producers, and unfortunately they've witnessed my emotional breakdown of wanting to do it, not wanting to do it. So I don't know. I just want to perform, period.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like.
Yeah, definitely.
What
I think
have
that's
you been doing throughout the coronavirus period then? Have you still been like working with people and working with the family and things? Have you been keeping things going over like Zoom and things like that?
Yes and no. I was dealing with one producer, I believe out of Australia. I think you guys have interviewed him before too.
Romeo Black, maybe? No.
Marcus Knight?
Oh, Mark Knight?
Oh, Mark Knight, Mark
Knight. Mark Knight, yeah.
Right.
So I'm trying, but I've reached out. I just feel like I need to become a little bit more solid in my choice of what, if I'm going to do it, if I want to create a group with Issa, you know, like I'm so in the air. I need some stability before I start involving others, you know, with my decision. I don't want to go back, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
And finding my own style, like the Pointer Sisters are the Pointer Sisters. So it's like, hi, you're a Pointer Sister. Now you're not. So who are you? It's you know.
Yeah, music's changed so much since then. There's a great revival for it, but it's hard to capture that similar sound. It's so varied, so many genres of music. What sort of genres do you like then, Sadako? What other styles of music?
Well, personally, my playlist is literally Amy Winehouse, India Arie, and Luther Vandross. I really don't break from those three. Like that's my style. More testimonial singing as opposed to pop, you know. So that's vibe. I think if I was to pursue going solo.
Yeah.
India Arie vibe and Amy. That's where I'm comfortable.
Yep, your style, yeah. Yeah, because it's amazing.
Maybe experimenting a bit as well, you know, just kind of just starting to put things down and just see where it goes, or?
Absolutely. I feel like that's the only way I'm going to figure out if I really want to do this. You know? So even when I did reach out to certain producers and they're sending me material, it's so hard to be like, I love that song. That is it. But I don't think for me, you know what I'm saying? That's hard too, to decide what is amazing in its own right, but is it fit for you?
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
Okay.
So
I think it's a very different world as well now, isn't it? You know, and with the social media sort of driven world, and you've really got to be true to yourself, I think, because it's quite disposable and it can be over quite fast for people. It's such a different world now, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, for me, you have to choose whether or not you're in this because you have a message to tell or you want to be. I mean, growing up in a famous family, I have no desire for fame. Like I actually deleted all my social media. Just for a little bit more closure. The invasiveness is a little much for me. I don't, especially growing up in the family I did with people always inquiring about personal things, I need a little distance. So the social media world with music is so difficult because they want your whole life.
Yeah.
And it's not up for grabs, you know, so I battle with that too.
You should go to a small island off the west coast of Scotland. There's no one here and you'll be left alone.
That's why I said I'm jealous. Can we switch?
Yeah, gladly. I need the sunshine. Me and John need some sunshine, so we'll switch.
You're lucky you can get an internet reception there, Paul. I'm surprised you're even on this right now.
Don't say anything. It might blow them away.
Do you know what it is? I just found out today. Americans came over, I think, a couple of years ago, believe it or not, to this island. And it was a kind of army base. So they brought 4G masts. So the only reason we are talking is because the American Navy were on this island a couple of years ago.
No way.
And they left the masts behind, basically.
Good guys.
Other than that, it was pigeons. I think they were sending pigeon mail still, to be honest.
It's not as reliable as it used to be.
For anyone who's watching this confused, yeah, I'm actually out on a tiny island on the west coast of Scotland in a camper van right now but that's technology, Sadako. That's technology.
The scenery is wonderful.
Yeah, no, it's
where
really
are you?
bad.
Where you're on the island.
Yeah. So I'm on the mainland. I'm very close to Glasgow Airport. I stay in Paisley, so very close to Glasgow Airport.
Okay, I'm familiar with that area.
It's not quite as picturesque as where Paul is.
Yeah, there's nothing picturesque about this in the middle of winter. That's for sure. In the summer,
it's sunny.
Yeah, I think in the summer it's meant to be really beautiful, but I'm not seeing it in its best light, as you can tell, because it's getting dark in here, to be fair. But oh well, I like it. I like an adventure.
It's a lovely backdrop you've got, though. A nice backdrop there.
Yeah, right.
So what's it like for you, Sadako? Is it quite rural? Were you in the kind of rural part of California over there?
I'm in the farmland.
Oh, okay.
Brilliant.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like quiet and calm. I like to go to chaos. I don't like to live in chaos.
Yeah.
So yeah, California.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's okay. Just travel. You know, like when you're out on the road every other week and you're like, I just want to sit at home and I want to have to do nothing. No, I don't. Yeah. I will never ask for that ever again. Go to work.
I know it's been a crazy year. Looking back though, Sadako, on some of your favourite memories, what are some of maybe the funniest moments you girls have had out on the road? Have you got any kind of funny stories you guys have got up to? Because you always look like you have such a great time together when you're out and about.
I mean, I guess the best moments are in the dressing room. The ones that no one gets to see, you know. When we act crazy, like me and Issa, oh man, it's over. Our goal is to just make my grandmother laugh up until the show. I walk around with her bra on my head. I'm so silly and crazy, working. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Is this what actually happens backstage?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then Nana comes in and she's like, oh, I can twerk. Grandma got it. Like, it's cute.
That sounds hilarious. And
the snatching of wigs and talking about how we're going to interact on stage, that's fun. Or when we have we secretly know who doesn't like to sing what, I will not say, but like who's favorite or who's least favorite. So when it's that time, we look at each other and the laugh. It's so good. I feel like the crowd's like, oh, they're enjoying it. And we are over there having some real personal laughter. So those types of moments are really good. Or when I was in Paris and we shared the stage with Grace Jones, Shaka Khan,
oh man,
Sister Sledge, like that, epic.
Wow.
I will, like, those are people I've dreamed about as a child, just meeting, let alone sharing or having my name. Mm-hmm. I was just like, wait, are you sure me? Like, oh my God, do you know who you are? Those types of pretty intense.
Yeah, or that must have been a great experience.
Oh yeah, man, good times.
Sadako, you need to get a camera out and record more of these backstage antics, especially, don't you? Sadako cam.
I used to on my social media, and they got a lot of good review because the backstage moments are everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man,
I think it really shines through in the music when you see people that are enjoying it that much, you know, because they're very memorable performances when you see a real unity like that, especially with the whole family like that. It's brilliant.
Absolutely. And especially for overseas, like the response from the crowds overseas, they pull out that type of fun. Because they're not sitting like this, just staring at you with a nice abrupt clap. Like they're enjoying it. They're crying, they're dancing, they're not looking at you, they're in their own world jamming out. Like that makes you feel, I literally tell my grandma all the time, I want to jump in the crowd. Like this is amazing. The way they interact with us it brings it out of us. We could be in a bad mood, get a good crowd, and it's over.
Yeah. Brilliant. No, I think there's. What do you think of the real revival for the types of music of the kind of 70s and the kind of 80s now? There's such a revival and such a love for it and such a young audience as well. It's because that gig in Glasgow that we watched you guys play at, there was such a young crowd, and like you say, they were all just dancing and enjoying it like they ever have, really, isn't it? What a range of ages. It was phenomenal.
Absolutely. And like I was saying before, I feel like that's more overseas. Yeah. So whenever we leave the States, we do get a more age diverse crowd, younger and younger. You know, here we see it, but they're with their parents or they're with their grandparents, which is great. But to see them by themselves and love it without remixes is really flattering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I ask my grandmother all the time, like, God, what does it feel like to just be generational? And she's just like, no words. No words.
Yeah,
it's good.
And what's the plans for the future right now for you guys? I know it's quite a difficult time to kind of come up with something, but do you kind of got things you maybe plan to do in the near future?
I've heard from management that we're good for the future, but we're just waiting for to feel a little safer for travel. Yeah. But once we're all on board. Once Nana says, let's hit the road, we're there.
Get back to Scotland. Back to Scotland.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah, it's quite uncertain times, but I think a lot of people are finding a lot of kind of salvation and comfort in the music now, and maybe that's why they're looking for such uplifting music. And we're just trying to get people like yourself together and just kind of bring comfort to people and just chat about the music right now while we can't really get out and overly dance to it.
Absolutely. But I feel like what's going on right now when concerts and intimate songs times come into play later on, we'll have more of a connection because a lot of celebrities, I feel, and entertainers are speaking from their homes and speaking from a non-dressed up performance space, and like John Legend performing from his home for Zoom and stuff like that. When we meet up together, we're going to feel more connected to the audience, I feel like, than ever before, because we've been so exposed equally to the same things, so that'll be different and really, really kind of cool to vibe with the audience in that way.
Yeah. I think it's shown just how fragile the whole industry really is when it can get to this sort of stage, can't it, and still be quite uncertain times.
Absolutely. I mean, it had me questioning, okay, well, what's the side hustle? Because clear performing isn't a staple for everyone at all times. So it makes you think, what are you going to do? What else can you do?
Yeah. Me and John just like to talk to each other on Zoom, don't we, John?
Well, hey, you guys just talk to each other on Zoom. Call me.
Yeah. I'll probably not be on the west coast of Ireland and the west coast of Scotland. Hopefully I'll be back in Glasgow by that point anyway, Sadako. Hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so too.
if the boats are on.
Oh, I might miss the boat as well to watch that weather over there. How is it? Is it quite stormy over there?
Oh, come on, John. Come on. A bit of support over here. Sadako, did I see you done quite a little bit of film work? Did you branch into a little bit of acting and things like that as well?
I did. When I was living in Atlanta, I had this apartment building full of people like Friends, like the television show. And one of the people was a producer, and he asked me, he's like, do you want to act? And I was like, sure. And he created a movie called Proxy, which is available on Amazon. Right. And it was fun. It was so much fun. It's a different world. It's so exhilarating to just be someone else, which is kind of what I do on stage anyway. I just go, okay, be Anita, be Ruth, like go into that. So it was really cool to kind of shift it into acting. And I think I want to do it again one day. Yeah.
Awesome. Had you never done that before? It was just a bit of a spur of the moment type thing. I'll have a go.
Not to that capacity. Like I was a main character in a long film and had to study. I had to work with some trainers. Like I had to get it together because it was a new world for me. My sister is an actress, but
Right.
I didn't know what I needed to know, but I got it together, and it's pretty good. You should check it out.
You were on,
Proxy.
you were on the phone to your sister asking for tips, basically.
Oh no! I tapped into her field, so I hid for about a year. She always would say, like, "You're the singer dancer, and I'm the actress." So when I dabbled in acting, I was just like, "Yeah, no, I'm not home. Don't yell at me."
So some long days on set as well, kind of long days of filming.
Absolutely. But one of the other actresses was my best friend. So talk about crazy. It was so much fun. So fun. Yeah.
That sounds amazing. I'm going to watch it.
You should. There were some risky scenes. Like I had to like kiss somebody and all of that. So those were things that were really different. I had to like be on screen. It was different. It was acting is different. I had to take my ego out and my insecurities and just wash them away and be like, the character is not insecure about being on film. Like I had to convince myself. So that was different, but it was a lot.
I think that's probably one of the hardest bits it must be about. I can only imagine with acting is just to let it all go, isn't it? And just have nothing, because to give up that fear and just just be totally open to it.
Yeah, but it's also hard because when it's over, it's like a breakup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't get to see that person anymore. I don't get to
character.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, you don't get to see that character anymore, like that character that you played.
The person I was portraying, I don't get to tap into that because it's a daily exercise to become that person. And it was sad. Yeah. Is like, you know how you binge watch something that has like 7 seasons, and when it's over, you're like, my friends are gone. Like I don't have any more friends. It was like that. Like, where'd that group of friends go? Like those characters that I bonded with, my character included. That was hard.
It must be like quite, if you're working with those people for that length of time as well, like when that kind of breaks up, that must be quite difficult as well when you're no longer sort of around that film crew anymore.
It is, absolutely. I tell people all the time, especially like young girls who want to get into the entertainment business, it's lonely. Very, very lonely. Especially if you have a family and stuff like that, because when you go on the road, you're not going to come home and be like, oh, I had the time of my life. You just weren't there. It was phenomenal. You can't do that. So you kind of have to subside those beautiful, amazing moments and kind of dull them down a little bit when you come back to reality, you know, and when you don't see those people or you don't have a show for like a month. Oh my God, my road family. I'm just like, I need to see them. I need their energy. Different. It's so different.
Yeah, I've heard that quite a lot about people. It's such a whirlwind, there's such a roller coaster going out of the highs of playing to those crowds, and it's difficult to come back to a kind of normality, I guess.
Absolutely. And the shift in who you become, you know, the day-to-day as opposed to the artist. They're people. They really are. Like even before this interview, I was like, okay, it's been a minute since I've talked like in this platform, like since January. That's a long time to switch it up. I'm like, oh, we're not going to talk about lunch and homework. Oh, okay. So this is a teacher parent meeting. So it's different. It's difficult to swallow when it's the next phase, you know? Yeah.
I think especially when you've got 2 Scottish guys with Scottish accents, one guy in a camper van off in an island in Scotland. It's a very random conversation, this one to have, Sadako.
Well, without subtitles as well, like you're doing very well.
I think I'm doing pretty good. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
At first, when we first started, I was like, oh boy. Oh, reception shaky. I was, oh Lord. It's going to be a lot of, one more time? Say it again.
we try our best to slow it down, don't we, John? We try our best.
We do indeed.
It's hard not to like try to slip into one of those accents though. Like I'm like,
oh, please do. I'd love to hear that.
Channel your inner actress, Sadako. Channel your inner actress.
Get that character. Get the Scottish character out.
I can't.
Oh, she was just about to go for it, Paul. She was gonna do it.
I know.
Go for it, Paul. Oh no. I'm working on it.
Channel your inner groundskeeper Willie from The Simpsons. Brilliant.
It's
thanks for taking time to chat to us, Sadako. We really appreciate it. Just before we kind of wrap things up, because to be fair, I probably should get to bed soon. It's getting on a little bit. But where can people find out more about you? Then are you quite active on social media? Where are the pages that people can search for what you're up to, your music and stuff? Then.
Well, right now, no social media for a minute, taking that reboot. But I definitely have my website, simplysadako.com, and I'm always accessible through there. Mm-hmm. And hopefully within the next couple of months, you'll see a lot of changes on there with the progression of where I'm headed musically.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, I think you'll find your path. It's just finding your own path, isn't it? Finding what you want to do. But I'm sure you'll get there.
Yeah, and any producers, musicians that are watching this amazing show, reach out on simplysadako.com if you're interested. Please, I'm trying to figure it out, but work with me.
Yeah. It sounds like you're on the right track, speaking to guys like Mark Knight and stuff like that. So you're doing really well.
Thanks.
See, one last thing, Sadako, just to ask. It's a bit of a funny question, this, but can I name one thing that you can't live without? What is one thing that you could never live without?
Oh man.
What if you?
That is a tough one. I'm struggling with that one right now.
Edible or like musically? I mean, give me a field.
What would you say, John? John, would you say
I would
me?
probably have to say food, to be quite honest.
What? I thought you were going to say me, John.
I really could not live without that. I could maybe get by without you, Paul, but I would struggle. I would struggle.
Okay, internet.
I
can't.
Yeah.
Without internet.
Okay.
As much as we'd all love to, it's difficult, isn't it?
I mean, and not even for like social media. Forget social media. There's just so much I don't know, and it's so easy to be like, "Look, Google, here I come." To have instant information. I don't think I could let that go.
Yeah.
As well as Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
And internet. That's two fine things right there.
That's a good answer.
Can I just ask as well, just before we go as well, so do you have any Netflix binge watching recommendations?
Oh my God.
A long list.
Okay, so since you guys are in Ireland,
oh dear, Scotland. Scotland.
No, I'm sorry.
Cut it off.
Back and forth between Ireland and Scotland. And of course I forgot it. God, I forgot it. Between sisters, I mean, there's so much because I binge, and if it's done in a day, I'm watching something else.
Are you thinking about Outlander by any chance?
Oh my God, it is good. I mean, good. Jamie? Okay, I'm done. Yes, so Outlander. We'll start with Outlander. And then the teeny boppers like Vampire Diary, all that stuff. I love it.
Yeah. It's good recommendations. We like that. No, thanks a lot, Sadako. Thanks for taking time to chat. And if I ever get off this island, I'll hopefully we'll see you in Scotland again at some point. Anyway, all right?
Please, I'd love that.
Brilliant. No, you take care.
I'm sorry?
You take care, Sadako. We'll catch up with you again soon, I'm sure, right?
Yes, please hit me up and I will be on here. I'd love to. You guys are great fun.
You can be our third host. You can be the new hostess.
Don't threaten me with a good time. We can do it.
Brilliant. No, thanks a lot. You've been a good sport, Sadako. We appreciate you taking time out.
My pleasure.
Thanks.
All right, you take care.
You too. Get home safe.
I will. Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.